A Fox News alert. A CBP tactical team is heading to Seattle, where looting and destruction continues weeks after CHOP was dismantled.
Seattle officers bracing for another wild weekend, but unlike in Portland, they're banned from using certain non-lethal crowd control methods. So who's really in control here? Radio show host Jason Rantz lives in Seattle and joins us live now. Good morning. Thank you for being here, Jason. We appreciate it.
Good morning.
We want to take you to live pictures of what's happening in Portland right now, where it's 1:15 in the morning out there. This is happening live again. So for folks waking up just watching this, or if you're on the West Coast, you can see it appears to be in our camera view anyway. I'd say about 100 or so people out there. I don't know how many more that we can't see. We're seeing smoke rising. We're seeing things being thrown. What is your reaction to what we're seeing out there yet again in the middle of the night?
Well, that is my reaction yet again. We see the same exact thing happening over and over and over again. Tonight, federal law enforcement officials gave 9 warnings over the course of well over an hour and a half, telling people you have to leave. They commit acts of violence, they start fires, they throw munitions at the building, and they try to break through. And then, of course, federal law enforcement officials react. And then tomorrow, some folks in the media will pretend that the whole action was unprovoked. Media members will pretend that, oh, yeah, it was totally peaceful. Didn't you see the wall of mothers who were standing there protecting folks? It's a scam at this point. It's happening over and over again, and people are just pretending otherwise.
Jason, let's now focus on Seattle. As we said, Seattle expecting a weekend of unrest. When we are back here on Monday morning, what will be the headline from Seattle?
Unfortunately, I think the headline is going to be what we fear, which is mass demonstrations that turn to rioting. We've seen riots over the course of the last week, too, since Sunday, where people are basically wandering through the streets of Seattle. They're not being stopped by law enforcement under order from the mayor. They're breaking into every Starbucks that they can, Amazon Go warehouse that they can, and different buildings because they are not doing this against police brutality. What they're doing is an anti-capitalist movement. It's being driven by socialists. It's being driven by Marxists, and they are trying to make a political point. Now, the only thing that we're going to try to figure out what's going to end up happening, because we just don't know, is that now we have federal law enforcement officials on the ground here. Now, they're not expected to get involved unless they have to, unless the situation on the ground becomes untenable. But there are a lot of police officers right now who are worried because they, as of Sunday, will not be able to use the non-lethal tools in their arsenal to disperse crowds when they get riotous.
Yeah, and actually the police chief made reference to this, saying we're significantly adjusting our deployment plans for all upcoming major events, including this weekend. Simply put, I cannot ask any of you to do this work limited only to your sidearm, baton, and body as tools. These are not tools that are reasonable in modern policing for crowd control. Sticking with the conversation of police here for a second, you know, we've heard reports across the country that a lot of police officers are going to be retiring early, that you're seeing slower numbers in people who want to come in and join the police force. And we're seeing there in Seattle, police are calling it anyway a mass exodus as nearly 40 officers ditch the department within a month. How bad do you think this is going to get?
It's already worse than that. So as of right now, I can tell you at least 80 applications have gone in to different agencies within the Western Washington region. And just to put this in perspective, we had a mass exodus crisis about 2 years ago when the cops didn't actually have a contract. At the end of that year, we saw 109 separations. And that's just not cops who were quitting. That includes retirement, that includes firing. So that's all inclusive. Right now, we have over 80 applications out on a department that's already woefully underfunded. And so we're getting into we're already in a staffing crisis, but at some point, it's going to be completely untenable for public safety in the city of Seattle.
All right. Jason Rantz, that is alarming. Thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it.
And stay safe this weekend. Time now, 17 minutes after the hour. President Trump canceling the Jacksonville Republican National Convention over coronavirus fears. So what happens now?